Is gone from the river town, and the rest can sail by no more. The spots in old days gone, no longer seen on the shore, and the river banks stay and watch for many miles to the first sea came around the rolling train around San Domingo and the millions fly.
I had to go back and turn the stereo down a little bit to see what you could hear. I wanted to tell you a little bit about why I think this idea of doing a creative palette series is a worthwhile one. As a visual artist by trade, I paint. I do paintings like these of these musicians. These are all local people, regional people that I've seen right here in Milheim, which is a really neat little artistic kind of creative town in central Pennsylvania that you'll hear a lot more about throughout this series. We're actually here in the Green Drake Gallery and Arts Center, which I'm a partner in, and where I do a lot of my painting. But the idea of the creative palette is this. As a creative person, yes, I paint, that's my main way that I make a living. But I also love music. I love to play music. I play guitar. The last couple of years I've been playing a couple of saxophones or harmonica. Sing, do some songwriting. I do some creative writing. And I think a lot of people like to express themselves in different creative ways like that. And so what I want to do with this series is just to share both painting technique, mostly oils, some acrylics, along with the positions I do landscapes, I do plein air painting, I'll go outside for some of these sessions. I paint portraits, horses, animals. And so, but I also like to share things about the music end of things. Maybe when I get a chance to sit in with some other musicians here on this stage at the Green Drake, across the street at the Elk Creek Cafe and Nail Works, which you'll get to know. And I want to introduce you to Milheim and this really cool little town we've got here with all kinds of interesting things going on and neat personalities. And then hopefully inspire you to want to come visit here, maybe do some workshops. I'm going to be doing some workshops both about the painting itself, but also workshops that are aimed at the idea of building your creative palette, because your creative palette means all of those tools, skills, the knowledge you have that you can use to express yourself. So if you're a painter, pick up an instrument and learn to play it. If you're a musician, pick up a paintbrush or a pencil. Try creative writing, write poetry, act. There's all kinds of ways to express yourself. And that's the kind of thing that I want to do with this series. So what I want to do now is maybe just take the camera around and show you a little bit more of my art here at the gallery so you have a better sense of who I am and what I do. And then we'll go from there in the future. So right now we're going up the stairs to our mid-level gallery that we call the mezzanine gallery at the Green Drake. And this is where all of the work in this particular small gallery room belongs to either myself or Elodie Geikus, who's the other main resident artist here. So let me just show you a couple of things that are representative of my work. Down here's a piece. This is a plein air piece. See if I can get in a little closer and hopefully it'll focus itself well. That I did just a few miles from here on a summer evening. I do a lot of plein air work in the summer, the warmer part of the year, although I also do a lot of studio pieces. This is a piece I did at the Kerner farmhouse, or from photos I took there. The farmhouse where Andrew Wyeth did a lot of his painting in the Chadds Ford area. And I wanted, in this case, I wanted to paint a place he had painted, not in exactly this view, but similar to his choice perhaps of how to paint, what kind of a scene to paint there, but in my own style with more richness of color and soft oil style than Wyeth would have chosen to use probably. Then sometimes I'll work in acrylics in this kind of a style, which is much more, you can see that this is much more pointillistic in its approach. Layered with little dots of color. I hope this focuses pretty well. Yeah, it looks like it's coming into focus. So you can see this is a very different approach that I sometimes use in acrylics, but it has a vibrancy and a brilliance to it that is a little bit different from what I would get in oils. And then going right up here on the wall to a smaller oil piece. Now this one is more soft and infused, and this is what oil does really well. So I'll talk through the series about the reasons to choose either oil or acrylics, at least among the main mediums I work in, depending on what it is you want to accomplish. Every year I painted our local county fair. I spent a whole week there painting the various scenes of the fair, and this is a typical evening shot of the fair, and I love the glowing light. Glowing light is something you'll see in my work over and over. Look at one more here in this session. This is the fair in the daytime. You can see it's a typical county fair kind of a thing. Very different look, but also capturing what's going on. So that's a little bit of my work. We'll come back later and look at some other things. Romance is gone from the river towns, and the rafts don't sail by no more, and the fleets and the spars from them old days of ours are no longer seen on the shore. That's the song I started the segment with, playing the harmonica to back in the gallery. The song is by Dave Belenko, a good friend of mine, lives in the area, part of kind of the roots rock group, Marah. He and Christine Smith. They've got this recent project they finished up after 2 years of work. They finished recently released an album that actually includes a vinyl LP called the Mountain Minstrelsy Project. And we'll have more information about that at the end of the segment. If you want to look it up, get yourself a copy. But they took this old book of Pennsylvania folk music from the northern mountains of Pennsylvania and from this area, written by Henry Shoemaker back around 1900. And took these fragments of songs, finished them off, assembled some of the best local musicians of that genre of music, and recorded this awesome album. A lot of it recorded in an old church down the street that's since been being converted into more of a music venue. So I thought it was a nice song to start and end this segment with. But we'll do a lot of that through this whole series, throwing music in, as well as the visual arts. Maybe go out and do some photography out in the outdoors, learn a little about nature along the way. I don't know. We'll see where it leads. But glad you joined us this time, and hope to see you again soon.